Whew, sorry about that. You want me to go a couple of steps back to kind of record it for the meeting or people working in Premiere? Okay. Sure, Josiah. For you. Anything for you, Josiah. And this time around, I'm going to make a few mistakes, okay? On purpose, by design. So I'm going to make this a little smaller, and I'm going to nest this clip, okay? Anybody remember what nesting was? Please answer. Perfect. You're basically taking a bunch of tracks and making into a one single clip, and everything is nested inside this one track. Perfect. In this case, I'm taking two clips. Yes. Mhm. Oh, wait. Go ahead, Laura. Gives me the opportunity to eat my apple.
Oh, hi. Okay. It's working.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Hello, can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes, yes, indeed.
Okay. Okay. Um, so I'm not exactly sure how this works on Premiere, but when I was editing my like episode, I based and then imported each separate timeline into a central one, and it functioned the same way, I think, as nesting. I used DaVinci, so it would be a singular clip. And then I could go to the individual timeline for that and make an edit and then go into the full one and it would still be there the same way because I found it quite effective and useful.
No, that of course, and that's why I say when you have a short film or a film, take each scene, edit it, and then nest it. So then that's a scene by itself. If the director comes in or the producer comes in and says, move the scenes around, it's easier to move one clip around than the whole timeline, trying to get 20 tracks in there. So that's why nesting is really good with that. So that's good that you do that, Loar. We spoke about it like briefly when we were talking about nesting, but that's a good technique to use, you know? Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to nest these two clips, call this nested sequence, who cares for now, and represented in green. And I resize this clip. I'm going to blow this clip up a little bit, increase the size. See how that looks? Perfect. Now I'm going to export an XML again. Replace this one. Okay. Now to import an XML into DaVinci from Premiere or Final Cut Pro, the best way to do it, the first way to do it is go to File, Import an XML. But what I found is if you go into your edit page down here, go into your make a bin of timelines, then you can right click timeline, import an XML. Go and select that. Now this time I'm going to use the sizing information. I'm going to go 1920 by 1080 and use sizing information. So we were speaking earlier when you're bringing this stuff in, what should be the settings? You can automatically set project settings and automatically import source clips into media pool, which is great. And sometimes you have proxies and you have raw footage in the same folder, and you might have deleted one, kept the other one, so on and so forth. What you can do is you can ignore file extensions in that case. It'll only match the name. But I will uncheck that because our project is not too complicated. And what do you want to call this? You're importing timeline '01. I want to call this for DaVinci because that was my edit name that I chose. and I want it to be uh, mixed format, frame rate format. I want to keep it to Pro Apple Final Cut Pro 7 because that's the one we exported the XML in, and I want to make sure that's the one I imported in. Okay. Does anybody remember the full form for XML? Don't Google it. I'm gonna count to five. If somebody knows, say it. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. It's extended metadata language. So basically, two softwares can communicate with each other by using this. Can somebody check for me now? For example, it's extended metadata language or linking or link. Please type it in the chat. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna go ahead and okay, and I'm using the sizing information this time around, and I've changed 640 by 360 to 1920 by 1080. I'm gonna press OK, and just like that, we have everything in here. Now this clip that we resized, the information is still here. The clip that we resized, the information is still here. Excellent. And let's try to uh, open this nested sequence and see if DaVinci can understand it. Because earlier the problem was any multicam sequences or nested sequences from Premiere were not understood by DaVinci. So I'm going to right click and say decompose in place using clips and see if DaVinci can um, understand it. You guys can see my screen, right? Okay. So I'm going to decompose in place using clips and see what happens. Well, DaVinci understands it now. So my point didn't get proven. So in that case, you can just import the XML and it'll give you exactly what you're looking for. And let's go into the inspector for a second. And it tells you this has been zoomed out to 0.7. Now, if I reset it and see what happens, boom, just like that, you can reset it now. So you can, if you make any modifications in Premiere, you can bring it back here and it'll still honor it. And you know that the clips are modified. I'll show you a way to know would be. Let's go one more time. Okay. So if you can see my screen, let me see if I can. I have to launch a program here. Let's go zoom it. Okay, good. Now let's see if it's working. Good. Now if you can see my clips, the clip where the playhead is on, and the clips next to it, next to that clip, see the color difference. One is blue, one is kind of gray blue. The gray blue tells you there's something has been resized or some sort of effect has been applied to the clip. Now, the moment I reset it, see how the clip changes the color. There. Now it's all uniform. Let's check further down. This clip has some sizing issue or sizing that you brought in from Premiere. So the moment you reset the sizing, it's gone. You guys understand? Yes.
Mandy, does it do like automatically once you're like putting the image from Adobe? Okay, good.
Yes. When you bring it in, that's the way of DaVinci telling you, hey, please look at me. I'm different, you know? Okay? Perfect. Now you'll go about and coloring the way you were coloring before. Once you're done, you can deliver directly from here. Or ideally, you'll be coloring at a point when the sound mix has already come back. Because coloring is the last thing. You have VFX, you have sound mix, everything is in the file itself. You bring the edit in here and you color from it. That'll be the best way to do it. Now, why do I say that? Because if you render stuff and then you go back and try to cut it up again or edit it again, you'll be losing quality. Your acquisition format, the way it was, is here, and you're delivering right from the raw files itself. Make sense? Yes, no? Anyone? Okay, good. Excellent. Now, here's the thing I wanted to teach you, since we're already in DaVinci. Now, sometimes you will deliver a file and then you'll delete the raw data, and then somebody said, hey, your film has been selected to go to TIFF. Can you recolor it? And then you say, oh, I don't have the main file or the raw files. How do I color it? Good practice. Never delete files. But if you do, before that, give yourself, let's go back to Premiere, give yourself a master. A master looks like this. The preset you'll use is Apple ProRes, or in this case, not my favorite, more presets. I am looking for QuickTime, or even this. Before you decide to delete all the data for your file, for current file, Apple ProRes 4422 or 444 would be the best way to do it without any effects laid on the file itself. You press OK, you'll get a bigger file size, but at the same time, you will have a file that you can recolor if you wanted to. Make sense? I'm going to hold it here for a second. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this, I'm happy with that. And this is a good preset for it too. Apple ProRes MXF OP1A is great actually. Some companies will ask you to do a DNX HR these days, like Bell MTS, but that's just one company that I know. But most people like Apple ProRes MXF OP1A. Okay, so now if you've done that and you've edited your film, and people have asked you to recolor it, and you don't have the raw files, this is what you're going to do. You go to your media page, and if you're planning to color in DaVinci, I'm going to go to my projects. Now this one, this one. I'm going to go, not funny. For example, I'm taking not funny again. And this is the edited. This is the master. See, if you guys can, if I can zoom in. I've done a master H.264. This was for delivery, for playing in a competition. They wanted H.264. Okay. So if you have something like this and you need to recolor it, you'll right click on it and you go to scene cut detection. I'm going to hold it here for a second if you guys want. And then you will go and say auto scenes detection at the bottom left of the screen. Now let Premiere do its, or DaVinci do its work. All right, nicely done. Now, the purple line represents the threshold. The gray lines represent cuts, which are maybe. The green lines represent a cut that is definitely there. Da Vinci is telling you there might be a cut here. Do you want to examine that? Let's go and do that. Okay. You can zoom in and you can go from cut to cut by clicking on the playhead. You go forward. Yep, there is a cut here. Now, to make sure this cut is recognized, you will add a cut. Now it becomes a green line. You can keep pressing up or down. Oh no. Give me a second. No, it doesn't work. You have to click on stuff. Yep, that's a cut too. Add a cut. Perfect. Now you can keep adding the cuts to make sure you get all the cuts that you were looking for the gray lines only. Click on something, check if there's a cut. Make sure the scene has shifted over is when you're going to place the cut. There, it's a cut now. Add. And so on and so forth. So you'll have to do a little bit of examination before you can say, you know what, I'm done. I recognize the cuts. And we have everything that we need to recolor, okay? For example, these little things, speed ramps or pans and tilts are recognized as cuts. You can delete them if you want, or you can leave them the way it is. They won't be added to the media pool. Only the green lines will be added to the media pool as cuts. Once you're done looking through, you can say add cuts to media pool. Just once. Close this window. And just like that, you have the whole film recut, ready to be recolored. Understood? Yes, Raquel.
Sorry, just to make sure that I'm following correctly, we're just doing this because once we transfer from Adobe to DaVinci, the whole thing goes like merged and we cannot tell when is a cut. So that's why you're asking DaVinci to run that so we can see where the cuts are. Just making sure
Yes, Raquel.
that's
The point is, if somebody gives you a file, say, hey, you know what? I shot this film. I didn't color it ever. I have just the edit. Can you recolor it for me? This might be the way to do it.
okay, nice.
Okay. So now sorry, go ahead. Okay. So once you're done with your putting the edit points in, the easiest way to get the whole thing in, and the whole thing will be highlighted when you add the cuts. You can just drag and drop it from the first file in, and then it'll be in sequence. Okay? And you go on about coloring the way you were coloring before. Okay? Exact same cuts, but now in the flavor of H.264 master. Okay? The only thing I feel with master files is they break easily. For example, let me take my power grade and apply to it. You remember power grades from last class? Anybody? Can you apprise me what a power grade is? Let's see a hand. Anyone with a hand. Nope. Nobody? Okay. Okay. A power grade is basically a grade from a file that you have saved to be used anywhere on any project that you want. I'm going to take this power grade and apply it like a LUT. Yes, but more control than a LUT. Okay? So now you see, let me just do one thing, just in all fairness, there's no color on this file, as you can tell, because the number of this clip doesn't have any color around it. If I make any modifications, for example, if I make any modifications to this, suddenly a rainbow appears around the number. That means the clip is being colored. Now, when I apply this grade, I'm gonna add a still here in the power grades. Okay. Now we'll go back. Actually, we didn't need to go back. Well, it's okay. And this is the way color is on the same file. This is raw, and that, my friends, is okay. That is not raw. That's H.264. So if you ever have raw, this versus that is what you get. So that's why not deleting any files from the drive is a great idea. Buying a new drive for every project is a great idea. And saving it for at least 7 years is a good idea. Okay? Like for example, you can double click it and do a split screen. Oh, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Split screen. So basically, this is what you get with RAW. This is what you get, the exact same thing with H.264. The image breaks easily. Understood? Yeah, good. And it gives a thumbs up. That's good. Okay, now I'm gonna go back into the project we're doing. Any questions regarding what we've done till now? Nothing? Okay, good. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to be tracking an object. So sometimes you need to add effect to a certain part of the image. For example, in this case, let me see, just for the sake of argument, I'm gonna make this plate desaturated. I don't want any color in this plate. So what I would do in the middle panel where all my masking tools are, I'm gonna go to window. I'm gonna take a window and put it on the plate itself. Make sure it kind of matches the plate. There. And I'm on the first frame, but as you can tell, the plate has some movement to it. Okay? So I want to make sure it stays attached to the plate. And for that, we'll have to track it. DaVinci has one of the best trackers in the business. Right next to your power window, in the middle panel, is your tracker. Now I gotta assess what kind of movement is happening here. The movement that's happening here is kind of a pan, the camera is kind of moving, and so on and so forth. So what I will do, I will take away the zoom, the rotate, and the 3D transform, and I will make it just pan and tilt. And I will track this forward and back. So easiest way to do that is to go not track reverse, not track forward in two sequences, but just pressing this button, which will do the work both ways in one click. Good. So let's see if our mask remains attached to the plate. Yeah, pretty good actually. But because of the effect, it kind of, you know, diminishes. Okay, so what has happened is it stays stuck on the plate till here, but then it starts moving. To fix that, in this panel, you'll see we have two levels of tracking available. There's a clip level and there's a frame level. So you can track the whole clip, or you can go to the frame level and add your own keyframes. So what has happened is since it only tracked till here, and when it starts moving, it loses the plate. So what I would like to do is add a keyframe by myself. Now, if you see the middle of this mask right here, it's white. Now, if I go to the frame level, it turns red to tell us that it's now noting any information that you're adding. And the way to add keyframes is called halves. You go to the end, add a keyframe, and then see if there's any movement between the first keyframe and the last keyframe, and then add another keyframe in the middle. So basically, I'm going to add a keyframe right here as an anchor by clicking this button. And now we have a keyframe here. Everything is matched till here. Now I'm going to move it ever so slightly, and it disappears here. So I'm going to go to the last frame and add a keyframe to the plate right here. Now see what happens to the plate, to the mask. It remains stuck where it was and kind of jumps back where it is now. So I'm going to go in the middle again and add another keyframe. Come on, come on. One more here. Yeah. And one more here. And I have like a double image. This is the transition basically. And another one here. Okay, good. So now we have all the information here that's tracking our plate. I'm going to turn the mask off. Now, any effect I add to this clip is going to affect only that part of the image. And interesting enough, it will track if it has to. Now, since there's two images, I would like to add another mask, ideally at that point. But I'm trying to give you the gist of how to use a power mask and how to track it. Does it get the point across? Okay. For everybody else too? Like I know Raquel, you're paying attention. For everybody else too? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Okay, Josh says yes. Ender says it does. Okay. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask me. Okay, Luke says good too. Good. I guess we can move on. Okay. So that's the way to reframe. So that's the way to track. Okay. Let's do a complex shot of people walking or somebody walking, and we can do a tracking shot and see if that works. That kind of follows along the person. For example, I'm going to put a mask around our gentleman here for this shot, and if see the mask follows him. So now I'm going to go to my power window again, and instead of putting a mask that's just round, I'm going to draw a mask. And I'm using my left click to draw a mask and dragging if I have to give it some shape. And there we go. This can be a really good tool for secondary color correction if if you're shooting a music video where the character has to be desaturated, everybody has to be um, normal saturation. It can actually help you. Okay. So I'm left clicking and I'm middle clicking to move around and navigate like this. And left clicking again to do this. Okay, perfect. Readjusting the mask. I'm going to turn my highlights on. And now this is the mask. So it's like hard edged. I would like to add some softness to it. So I'm going to come down here and add some softness on the inside and on the outside, because softness kind of makes it easy to sell it, I guess, you know? So now, once the mask is in place, I'm on the first frame, making sure I'm the first frame, and I'm going to go track forwards this time only. Tracking, let's make it full, yeah, forward. Okay, let's see if it actually worked. So let's take this away. Now, why did it not work? It just kind of stayed the way it was and it kind of floated away. Anybody have an answer for me? No? Good, Callum. That's good. He's changing position. So in that case, we have to go back and turn the zoom on, rotate and 3D. And now we'll go track forward again and see what happens. Oh, okay. So it did for a bit, but then again, you have to go and finesse it. But it kind of stays stuck to his head because when he turns, when the mask is obstructed with something in front, or if the person turns away, then the tracking loses. You cannot track properly. So he turned back, but the mask kind of stayed stuck on him. And I lost him at this point when you couldn't see a face. But again, you can finesse it by going to frame level and moving the mask around if you had to. And giving it, sorry, making it bigger, smaller, whatever have you, okay? And then whatever effects you put inside this node, it'll stay stuck to him inside the mask. Am I making sense? Or should I give you another example? Nothing? I'm looking at the chat and you people. Okay. Let me give you another example. Make the mask fit his movement here more. I could, Callum, uh, see such a complex shot. What I'm doing is called rotoscoping and tracking. There's people on the post-production team who are rotoscoping artists who just make masks and track mask. So I could do that, but the time spent would be a little bit more. If I was shooting it, and if I hadn't shot it, I would go in knowing that I have to make this look. This particular shot has to be somebody will be followed, or somebody will be desaturated in the middle of a crowd. Then I will shoot with that in mind to have minimum movement of the character, or have a simpler movement of the character. Okay, okay. I'm gonna give you another example. For example, let's take a simpler shot. Let's go. He vomits and he walks. This is a good shot. No. What? Come on. There. This is a good shot. So simpler, right? So the guy enters and then he enters on the side of the camera and then goes down the hallway. Okay. So let me put a mask around him and I'm going to draw the mask again this time. Okay. Top of the head. Oh, come on. Move it around a little bit. Just remember this, guys. When you do rotoscoping, it's a lot of time spent in doing just this. Okay. So again, if you're going to do something which is going to require this kind of effect, maybe shoot it with that in mind. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Adding a little bit of inside mask and a bit of outside mask, and let's see how this goes. Okay. Now again, what am I tracking? I'm tracking 3D, rotate, zoom, tilt, pan. Okay. I'm gonna go backwards from here. Not bad at all, actually.
I would say it did like a fair job, but not a great job. Now I can go and finesse it if I had to. Okay. It gets stuck on him here. So I'm going to go to frame level and add another keyframe where I modify this. Hopefully it stays. No, it has to be made bigger again. So I'm going to take this and this and finesse it. Most of the times you'll have to finesse, I guess, if you're doing rotoscoping for complex movements like this. But sometimes you can get away with it and not have to do anything, okay? AI tool that auto tracks frame by frame for you to once you have a rough mask. This is inside the software itself there, Callum. This tool, the tracking tool, is inside the software. This is AI, you're right, and it has been here for like years, and it does it for you. The work will be done for you, but yeah, you gotta go and check if the mask stays stuck. If it doesn't, all you gotta do is go to frame setting in this and just modify the mask, and it's putting keyframes as we go. Like it stays stuck pretty good here. Just a little bit of movement, and we're done. So I modified some of it, but most of it was good. Back here is kind of a mess. So basically, I'm gonna move the whole mask to stay stuck on him and change it a little bit more. Yes, Raquel, it is crazy because it does all the work for you. And then you kind of go and finesse it, okay? And now what I'm going to do, once this is done, I'm going to add a blur. So let's see which node did we add it to. So let's add an outside node. And in the outside node, I'm going to go and look for a lens blur. A blur. Only, no, it was only showing favorites. So I'm going to go back to show all. Lens blur. I'm going to blur the background. Oh, Command Z. Was it this one? Oh, oh, wait. Blur size. Give it a second. Okay, actually, this is the outside node. But why is it doing it for everything? Let's press Shift H. No, I didn't take the size information here. Let's delete this. Control Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Good. Okay. Oh, I see. What has happened is all these nodes, I gotta take something away from this node. I take the alpha away. Not from here, but from here. Okay. So the point being, when you track, man, it's not working actually. So the point when you track, you can add effects to the tracked area. For example, I've tracked this. Let's see if this does it. Yeah, it's kind of adding to it, but it's not working the way I'm thinking it should work. Nope. But anyways, normally when you don't have any effects applied, it will work like that. Let's do one thing. Let's do extract this and delete all the nodes. Command Z. and go here, add an outside node, and attach that here, and take that and let's see if this works. Nope. For some reason it's not working. Anyways, so usually what it does, I'll have to relaunch the program. Usually what it does, whatever you select inside the mask stays highlighted, and everything else is kind of that's not the mask won't be affected. So if you added blur to this, it'll be added to this, unless you had an outside mask where the blur will be added to the background. Let me try that quickly if I can show you, because I feel like I'm making myself look like a fool. Oh, let's go to the last one. Let's add a new node, Alt S. Now let's do a quick mask. I'm not going to track this time, but I want to show you what I was wanting to show you earlier. Finesse this a little bit. Okay, good. So there's a mask. I'm going to add an outside mask. And then I'm going to blur the background even more. Okay, so let's see if it actually works this time. There we go. So that's the effect you can achieve when you track it and you want to change something and add, make it a little stylistic. If that make any sense, or if that made any sense, yes or no? Good. Okay, good. Thank you. Now, this is done. Our DaVinci is done. I'm going to quickly tell you how to deliver. Hopefully you'll color in DaVinci because there's more tools, and I'm going to go to Touch Premiere right now and tell you why coloring in DaVinci makes sense. And again, people take their Premiere projects, bring it to DaVinci for color, and they deliver from here. You can deliver from here by pressing this quick export button up here if you're putting on YouTube. All you got to do is make sure you're signed in like I am. You can upload directly, give it a name, add description, and export. It'll go directly to your YouTube. Now, if you're not delivering for YouTube, if you're delivering for film festivals, they will ask you for a Vimeo link or upload to a drive. Give it a second. Give it a second. Okay, there we go. So if they ask you for a Vimeo link, you can also upload to your Vimeo directly from here. But if they ask you for a Google Drive link, you'll have to go here and deliver an H.264 master or or under the custom export, you can go and select QuickTime and then uncompressed or DNX HD or HR. Now, since I don't have a Mac, I'm not able to deliver an H.264, ProRes 422 or 444. In this scenario, DNX HR if you have a 4K footage, HD if you have a HD footage, okay? Because DNX HR gives you the option of delivering 8K or 4K. DNX HD, however, only gives you the option of delivering 1080p or 720p. Okay? And then this is for your video. The audio setting, you can leave it default as is because there's not much you can change unless you have master sound here. If you master sound here, there's a different setting, but if you have sound that came in with it, just deliver the way it is. Do not change it, okay? Perfect. This is done. Now I'm going to stop here for a second. Do you guys have any questions? If someone were to step in front of your mask in the frame, would stop tracking the subject. It does wonky things there, Ender. All you have to do is you can stop. Give me a second. You can stop the You can stop the tracking at that point or pause it and then go to the frame level and readjust after the person has moved away or moved across. Okay? And DaVinci is pretty good. It'll follow the mask. If somebody comes across, it'll do wonky things. You can go back and adjust. Okay? No problems. Any other questions? Will you be uploading all of our Zoom classes to Nexus? Yes, I'm going to upload. You know what? As a matter of fact, I'm going to upload the last class because what Zoom does, it takes time to conform the class. So I'm going to go check my Zoom. Where is my open recordings? There we go. Local recordings. Yeah, this is the one from 13th. So I'm going to go. See, I have to convert it still. Do I? Oh, okay. I'm going to convert it. Following put the file devices, personal data. Well, I guess. So I'm going to convert this and then upload it. My computer's going to be at risk, but I'm going to do it for you, Callum.